Hello everyone, welcome back. So a good clone fragrance to me, when you compare it with the original fragrance that it's based on, it's a bit like comparing identical twins. They're practically the same, they're almost identical, very hard to tell apart, but people who know both will be able to tell a difference between the two. They'll know who's who, or with the fragrances, which one's which, but there are always some differences. But if it's a really good clone fragrance, then the differences are so small that you might not mind putting up with them. And it's kind of the same with identical twins. If, like me, you've had a relationship with an identical twin at some time, you'll probably know that they're very, very similar to the point that although there are differences, if one of them's not around, you can usually just make do with the other one for the night. Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at my comparison between Maison Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540, that's the Extrait de Parfum version, and Casino Royal Nights from Dua Fragrances. So, Dua Fragrances, of course, famous for making clones or inspired expressions of mainly very high-end niche fragrances, and one of their really popular ones was their version of Baccarat Rouge 540 Eau de Parfum from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Now they have made a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum, the stronger, slightly different, perhaps more potent version of the same fragrance that you can get from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Casino Royal was the original Dua fragrance based on the Eau de Parfum, and that was a really popular one that even Gentsense, who didn't like Poseidon's Elixir 13ZZ by Dua, their Aventus clone recently, he did have to admit that Casino Royal was a really good clone of Baccarat Rouge, the EDP. So I'm very lucky to have been sent free of charge by the company their clone, or inspired expression as they would like me to call it, which is called Casino Royal Nights, and this is their version of the Extrait de Parfum of Baccarat Rouge 540. Things that I forgot to say there, the fragrance was sent to me for free, but of course I'll be giving you my honest appraisal of it, including the pros and cons of the Dua fragrance. The other thing I should mention is that I'm working from just a small company official sample of the Maison Francis Kurkdjian original version. So the notes for the fragrance, same for both fragrances of course. You've got in the top bitter almond and saffron. Mid notes we have Egyptian jasmine, cedar, and in the base it's musk, woody notes and ambergris. So the original fragrance, the Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum, is going to set you back in the UK £295 for a 70ml bottle. So it's a very expensive fragrance, really one of the more expensive niche fragrances out there, more than a Creed even, really high-end kind of pricing there. The Dua fragrance version here is a 30ml bottle, so it's a small bottle, and that's currently $65 on their website, which translates to around about £50 in the UK. So it's still not a cheap, inexpensive fragrance at all, but it is considerably cheaper per milliliter, and particularly with this smaller bottle being available, you can get this, of course, for a lot less money than buying the Francis Kurkdjian one. So that's a good thing. A lot of people really negative about Dua. I know that there will be some thumbs down on this video. Seems to be a controversial house. I am giving a fair crack of the whip to all the different clones houses out there. I do stuff by Parfums Vintage. I think I've got some Alexandria stuff coming in the post soon. I've got an interesting one from Al Haramain, their new version of Green Irish Tweed. So I give all the companies a fair go, but I try not to overload you too much with clones, but let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So Dua Fragrances have copied it. Let's see how good their copy is. I've got some on my hand here, and I've got some of these other versions of the Baccarat Rouge on cards as well, and I've been wearing it on and off for quite a few weeks now. This was sent to me way back. The original fragrance came out in 2017, and Dua's one has been out for quite a while now too. So the original fragrance from Francis Kurkdjian is a really enticing, to me, a gourmand fragrance. It's sweet, It's got a very pronounced almond note, maybe a hint of cherry, which isn't officially listed in the notes. There's a kind of marzipan sweetness in it, and this very nice ambergris element. This, I guess it's ambroxan, a sort of synthetic version of ambergris. It's in there, giving it a woody kind of feel. So it's a sort of oriental floral, officially that's the designation. It's sweet. It's definitely floral. There's some nice jasmine note in there, but there's this very kind of pleasant bitter almond with maybe a hint of cherry kind of thing going on. So I would put it in the gourmand category, and it gives a very nice, sweet, pleasant, sweet yet with a hint of underlying freshness and woodiness kind of aura about the wearer. I do have also a sample of the original Eau de Parfum version from Francis Kurkdjian, and that also really nice, similar kind of description, maybe a little bit more of the fresher notes and the woodier stuff, a more pronounced and obvious almond sweetness and gourmand element for me with the Extrait de Parfum. So Dua's version, of course, they're famous for having very strong performance, and the original Francis Kurkdjian one does have really good performance. It lasts really, really well, and projection is, I would say, just short of beast mode, but it's very, very strong. And I would say the Dua one, very, very similar. It is a very strong, potent fragrance, almost to the point of being a little bit annoying potentially. It's, you know, if you like beast mode or close to beast mode, I think the Dua one does achieve that. So really great performance. And the closeness in smell, these clones are never exact, they're never perfect. The original company may have some captive ingredients which only they are allowed to buy on the market. They have a hold over those, so no clone company maybe can get a hold of some of the ingredients in some of these fragrances. So there's always something that you can detect, maybe that's just a little bit different. But as is so often the case with Dua, this one, incredibly hard to tell apart. I've got the Maison Francis one on here and the Dua one on here. It's really, really difficult to tell them apart. Maybe in the opening I say the Dua one is coming off a little bit more potent, and then a stronger kind of sweet almond, really in your face gourmand thing. I know a Dua tend to pack a lot of oil into their fragrances, so maybe even above extract type levels of concentration, maybe a really heavy amount of oil, which does distort the way you experience the smell a little bit. So very, very in your face, sweet gourmand opening on the Dua, pretty much that way on the original fragrance, but I think the Dua more obvious with the almond and the sweetness, everything sort of amped up a little bit, which of course sounds like a good thing, but it may not be exactly what you want. If you've tried or owned the original one or had a sample, you're going to detect a slight difference in feel, particularly in the opening. As time goes on with the dry down, I find that they get extremely similar, and as with so many Duas, and it's a bit tiresome to keep saying it, but it's really, really close. I don't want to say 95%, because who can measure a smell similarity in percentage terms? You can't, but very, very similar and hard to tell apart. Really, really pleasant fragrance. You know, I'm referring to both, but we'll talk about the Dua one now. It has this really nice, sweet, powdery air about it, a touch of gourmand, but balanced out with the ever popular ambroxan note, which gives us this sort of maybe arguably masculine kind of woody undertone to the fragrance. I know some people have liked to layer the original Baccarat Rouge 540 Eau de Parfum with Aventus. So if you want a sort of sweeter balance to your Creed Aventus, but a really nice likeable masculine feel, some people have done that combination. It's quite a famous layering thing, and again this one still does have something woody and masculine underlying it potentially, but it's much more of a unisex fragrance than things like Aventus. Women of course will be pretty happy, just as happy as men, to wear this one with the almond note, the sort of sweetness, the gourmand thing. So really, really nice performance, really strong in the air, leaves this kind of sillage trail. I've been wearing it around Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel, and she says she can smell it as soon as she comes down the stairs. So it's really, really strong, verging on the beast mode, and very, very close to the original Baccarat Rouge 540. So nice florals, juicy kind of cherry sweetness in there, and it's lovely kind of marzipan-esque almond note, balanced out well with this woody undertone. Very, very pleasant, strong fragrance. For me, it's not exactly up my street as my kind of thing that turns me on the most, so I'm just going to give it a restrained 8 out of 10. I'd give, I guess, the same kind of mark to both of them. Obviously, pricing-wise, the Dua one, a lot better value for money, but it's not cheap, so, you know, you're not getting a niche fragrance, you're not getting that exciting experience, but you're still having to spend a reasonable outlay of $65, £50 for just 30ml. But it is really, really strong. And the one thing I've noticed about Dua fragrances is they do perform really well, and I often get comments from people on them, people who know me and know I'm into fragrances, and sometimes not. I've had that with Supernova, their copy of Elysium by Roger Dove, and I've also had it with Fortune, which is the duo version of Naxos. I do get people saying, oh, what's that one you're wearing today? That's really good, or that I can really smell that one today. So I must say, if you like performance, duo fragrances are excellent. They copy things 90-95% accurately, but they're not cheap. So I'm not saying everyone needs to rush out and buy every single one, but if you are interested to own this fragrance without outlaying around about £295, I think this one is a really good option for you. So try the original fragrance if you can in stores, and you may consider this as a very good alternative to that. So very impressed with it. Not my favorite fragrance in the world, just because sweet gourmand things, I have to be in the mood, and I'm not always in that mood, but it's very, very good. So 8 out of 10 score for me. Let me know what you think about the video. Any comments, as long as they're civilized, are welcome down there below. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Whatever you're doing in life, let's project. I'll see you in the next video.
Smelly.